I've given considerable thought to the idea of what comes first, feelings or thoughts, thoughts or feelings. And to me, it's a little bit like the chicken or the egg. And what's really interesting to me is I think the great disservice that ancient Greece has done to Western society, but only on one particular front, and that's the balance between thinking and feeling. Everything else, I love what they've done to Western society, to the history of the world, the way we view logic and sensibility. And I mean, I'm not complaining, but it's just this one thing where they separate the heart from the mind. And I think it creates sort of a schizophrenia, if you will, within cultures, societies, and the individual. They're all about individual rights and the greater good, but they don't put mind and heart together into one package. And I think a lot of people in today's society denigrate feelings. They'll say propositions like feelings aren't facts. And I don't agree with them. I think love is a noun and a verb, and it is a fact. Love is the great fact. It's the only thing that we can take with us when we leave Earth School, planet Earth. And it's probably the only thing that we're going to encounter once we get where we're going, and home is where the heart is. And if you have love, then when you go, you won't even hardly notice you're gone because it's just relocating the love and universalizing it. Oh, I don't even know. I'm sure there's a good word in the English language for that, and I'm not coming up with it. But but in any case, the incoherent arguments that are rife in our society between mind and heart, to me, the heart is the feeling part of the mind, and the mind is the thinking part of the heart. And when both are in equilibrium, they are coherent. When they're 50-50, or maybe they do this balancing act where they go back and forth, but that's coherent. And when you're heavy with one, like the mind, then the mind goes up and we become highly mind-centered, and then the heart over time kind of disappears and gets out of the picture. And likewise, some people are so feeling oriented that their feelings become everything, and it just pushes the heart out of the picture. And, Cummings wrote a poem that actually shifted my consciousness, and is titled Since Feeling is First. And he actually didn't title it, somebody else did for their own comfort level. But he just wrote poems, and I don't think he necessarily wanted to title them. You just let them stand on their own merits. But he wrote, since feelings are first, or since feeling is first, who pays any attention to the syntax of things will never wholly kiss you. And you can flip a couple of words there, do what you want with it, but who pays any attention to the syntax of things will never wholly love you, will never wholly hug you, will never wholly be present in that emotional state. But being at peace, mind and heart, like God is love for me. So turning my mind and my heart over to God is a beautiful thing. And that's what I would hope to accomplish in my life, is to be in that sacred zone of acceptance and merging, converging heart and mind. So I'll be coherent, because people that go too heavy one or the other, they're incoherent to me. It's like, you're not making any sense, you know? And people that are overly feeling, maybe, you know, and I mean, in God's economy, nothing is wasted. You know, we go through our heart things, we go through our mind things, and they take turns. Sometimes they're both together. But, you know, as I understand it, okay, for example, ancient Israel, they didn't separate heart from mind. They were both revered, and hence the scripture, love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, soul, mind, and strength. And, you know, once we surrender our heart and our mind, then it doesn't belong to us anymore, per se. I mean, it's not like we lose our free will. We constantly take it back anytime we want, you know. I think most of us can present good evidence where we've done that from time to time in our lives, you know, and we turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understand God, and then we take it back when we're unhappy, you know. And generally the only time someone is unhappy, maybe I should only speak for myself, but I'm just trying to present a metaphor here. The only time someone is unhappy is when God or someone else ain't doing it their way. And they've taken their will back. They've taken their power back, you know. And they don't understand that being powerless is actually a beautiful thing. And pain is even beautiful when once it's surrendered. Because if it exists in our life, even the pain itself can be beautified, because God doesn't bail on us because we're in pain. We might bail on God, or we might even bail on ourselves and get a divorce when we're in pain. And I'm not saying anyone shouldn't get a divorce. I got one, you know, but, you know, the acceptance is the answer to all our problems today. And if we can be at peace with the divorce, you know, that's a beautiful thing too. And sometimes it's necessary, you know. I put balloons on my car, you know, after my divorce, and I put a sign in the back window, and, you know, just for a short period of time, I even took strings and tied some cans on the back of my car to drag on the road. You know, after a couple of blocks, I pulled over and got rid of them because I didn't want anything bad to happen. And I was trying to make a point. I was trying to, you know, be humorous, and I wrote just honk, and I wrote just divorced instead of just married, as just divorced. And people were laughing, honking their horns, and, you know, a couple of blocks later, I got rid of the cans, but I drove around like that for 2 or 3 days. And I went to work with that on my car. And I worked at a treatment center. And one of the supervisors came into our shift report. You know, we had nursing and some other people come into our treatment, you know, shift change. And she said, I got scared, right? She said, who's got the car that says just divorced on the back of it? And I kind of shrunk a little bit. I thought, oh, am I in trouble? And I said, that would be me. And she looked at me for 2 or 3 seconds and then laughed. She says, I love it. That's great. I was like, I'm not in trouble. Good thing. I did get in trouble one day when I wore a jacket to work that had a patch on it that a Christian biker inspired me to get. My bio brother actually had it made and mailed it to me, the patch itself, and then I had it adhered to my jacket, and it says, Satan is a punk. And at the treatment center, they said, you can't wear that while you're on the clock, because there could be Satanists at work, and also maybe as patients, and we don't discriminate on the basis of religion. And I thought, I think you are right now, because you're not letting me wear my jacket. But I didn't make a big deal. I was, it's fine. You know, they're paying my checks, and it wasn't worth going to war about. You know, what am I going to do? File a lawsuit every time that I feel somebody is not doing things my way, right? So if we all dropped the rock and just got along, and we put what we think is right into balance with what we feel is right. And even if one is wrong and the other is right, and back and forth, and we can't make up our mind or we can't make up our heart, acceptance is the answer to all our problems today, like Dr. Paul said in the big book. If you don't know what that is, look it up. Hey, we get that? We're golden, man. We're golden. So anyway, I better wrap this puppy up. So love you guys. Peace out.